By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. It is so important for the speaker to review their material before giving their speech to the audience in order to convey their idea in the most clear and concise manner as possible. This week, Ms. Kaylin Rothwell, the director of DSS, gave a speech to our Service and Justice Immersion Trip group that will be heading to Jamaica this spring break. And since we'll be working with populations that experience mental and physical disabilities, we thought it'd be appropriate to invite her to speak to our group so that she may answer any questions that students may have or offer some advice or wisdom to us before we head to this journey. So, throughout her speech, she covered a lot of key points on what it's like to interact with students and people that have these disabilities and what are certain things that we should be cognizant of while we are engaging with them. So, for example, she began to talk about how important nonverbal feedback is to communicating with people who may be nonverbal and how that can be interpreted. She also discussed how important it is to check in with yourself while you are interacting with people that live so differently than you, or they might seem so different from you, because it can be overwhelming. So it's really important to just see how you're doing, and how important it is to also talk to other people too if you're having a difficult time. And lastly, she opened up the floor to anyone that might have any questions about anything that she mentioned, or fears or expectations they might have before we embark in such a journey. But one of the things I did realize when she gave the speech was that she did not have an intro or conclusion. So a lot of students were caught off guard about what she was going to talk about throughout her presentation. So it became very evident that she did not prepare her speech and rehearse her material before she gave her delivery. And it made it very difficult for students to follow along with what she was saying or what her key points were for her speech. She did not use any visual aids or presentation slideshows, which made it really difficult for students to follow along with what she was saying. She was just standing there and talking, so it was hard to follow along. Secondly, she continued to ramble on at a lot of points that then led to tangents with other students and other staff members, which made it really difficult to avoid going sidetrack and focusing on what we came to talk about, which was really difficult considering it was such a important topic. And lastly, she had to reference her notebook several times in which she jotted down notes or key points, and that created a lot of long, awkward pauses for the students, which really limited their opportunities and abilities to actively listen as ethical listeners with what she was saying. So there were definitely a lot of improvements that she could have done to make the speech better, and that can only really be done by practicing your material so that you know what you're going to say ahead of time. Her speech could have been more productive and effective if she reviewed and rehearsed the examples and topics that she wanted to talk about prior to her delivery in order to convey a clear and concise message to the audience. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. This is so evident in public speaking because it is so important to rehearse what you are going to say before, else the audience can tell that you did not take it seriously, and it can be difficult to follow along with their message. Thank you.